Hey all, welcome back to our fifth story behind the song. Who doesn't like stories? We all grew up on stories, haven't we? This is my fifth story, and I begin to notice that all our favorite songs have one thing in common. What could that be? All have been written during times of affliction and suffering, thus rooting in the faith that God can turn around good and bad for His glory. Though these songs are written in pain, yet God has enabled generations to sing it with joy. This song is a song of gratitude, yet when you hear the story, the circumstances are far from being grateful. Without further ado, may I present to you today's song. Now thank we all our God with hearts and hands and voices. Before we go into the story, just a reminder, please do subscribe Bible Brain channel for more such videos and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our stories, and do share it with your friends and family. Now back to our story. German pastor Martin Rinkart served in the walled town of Eilenburg during the horrors of the 30 Years of War from 1618 to 1648. It was one of the worst epidemic and famine faced in history. In 1637, the year of the Great Pestilence, there were only 4 pastors in Eilenburg, but one abandoned his post and could not be persuaded to return. Pastor Martin had to conduct the funerals of the other remaining 2 pastors. As the only pastor left, he often conducted funeral services for as many as 40 to 50 persons a day, some 4,480 in all. In May of that year, his own wife died. By the end of the year, the refugees had to be buried in trenches without services. In the face of overwhelming pressure, constant risk, and horrendous conditions, Martin never stopped ministering to the people of his city. He gave away nearly everything he owned to the poor and needy. Though he could barely clothe and feed his own children, he mortgaged his own future income to provide for his family and his community. At one point, toward the end of the war, the Swedish army surrounded the city and demanded an enormous ransom from the already struggling and starving citizens. Knowing his people didn't have the money, Martin pleaded with them to lower the amount, only to be rejected. It's reported that Martin returned to the city, fell on his knees, and said, "Come, my children, we can find no hearing, no mercy with men. Let us take refuge with God." He then began to pray so fervently that the Swedish general was moved to lower his price to less than 5% of the original sum. After nearly 30 years of ceaseless struggles, it began to look like peace was within grasp. Wanting to give his children a song to sing to God in thanks at the dinner table, Martin sat down and composed what would become one of the most well-known Thanksgiving hymns of all time. Now thank we all our God. So the next time you go through a painful phase, instead of asking God why, Lord, or maybe after asking why, Lord, may we also ask God the purpose behind it, because God never allows pain without a purpose. Ask God to help you see through the pain, the perspective that He wants us to see. It is well-tested and tried method of processing pain. Once God reveals the purpose behind your pain, you will see God pouring in His peace that surpasseth all understanding and giving you the strength and wisdom to process your pain and get into action about what He has put in your heart for His glory. Can we join with the Apostle Paul as he says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 18? In everything, hope you heard it right, not in anything or something, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning